Hey everyone, this is Sunita, and I welcome you all to Sunita's English Adventure. I'm bringing you my fourth conversation with a wonderful tutor from EnglishYaari platform. And at this point, we don't feel like strangers anymore. It's more like talking to a friend. And as always, I enjoyed this conversation. We've covered a beautiful blend of different topics, like we spoke about emotions, pain, our experiences that I'm sure you will be able to resonate with. It's heartfelt, it's real, and something I feel that you'll enjoy as much as I did. So let's dive into the conversation now.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning, and sorry to have kept you waiting.
Not a problem. So I hope I'm loud and clear.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing well and going a bit late today, as per my usual schedule, I would say. My kids are home. Actually, government has declared a holiday because of the red alert, but nothing like
Right.
that. The weather is so pleasant right
Uh-huh.
now.
Uh-huh. So, where are you currently at? Are you in Uttarakhand?
Yes, I'm in Uttarakhand.
Right. And how's
Hmm.
the situation there? Because we have been seeing it in news that situation is going pretty dark, right? Especially in a particular place, right, where there was flash flood. So, is it close or
Hmm.
is it a little far away from where you are staying?
It's far away from here, but yes, that risk of cloudburst and flash floods, that is always there in monsoon, I would say. So this time,
Mhm.
many areas got affected by it, like Uttarkashi, then in Pauri as well, it happened recently.
Ah,
So many
okay.
areas got affected by it, and rescue operation must be going on there because the
Mhm.
houses, they all swept away. There is nothing left behind,
Right.
and
Yes,
definitely lives.
right. And the
Mhm.
videos that have been coming out, it is simply devastating to even look at it. So you can't imagine the
Right.
uh, situation of people who are actually
Mhm.
living that, right?
Right, right. But
So,
yes,
do you think?
it's nothing. It's just that
Right.
we are nothing in front of nature, right? So if any
Yeah.
natural disasters happen or occurs, we are helpless. We can't help. And natural disaster or these calamities don't see whether you're rich or poor. It is going to
Yeah.
affect anyone, right? So yes,
Right.
like we are just sitting finger crossed. We never know, what happens next. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing.
Right. So, is it that over the years these cases of cloudbursts have increased, or do you think it has
Hmm.
always been happening? It's just that now because of social media, things are getting out more. So,
That's right.
what do you
Hmm.
think is the
It
reason
has
or
always
it's happening?
Yes, it has always been happening, I would say. And yes, you have rightly mentioned that because of social media, these things are
Mm-hmm.
getting highlighted these days. And through many
Right.
platforms, through many people, I would say. So that's why it's always in the eyes and in the news and the highlights. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we're getting
Yes.
more and more information. And sometimes people, manipulate as well. They
Right.
spice up things. So it's very difficult to find trustworthy, credible source to get the right information,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. But I hope that everything
Mhm.
becomes better. And monsoon, yes, it's risky for all the hilly areas. Here, even
Mhm.
in Kerala too, we have places like Munnar and Wayanad. So here in Wayanad, just 2 3 years back, we had a major landslide, and a lot of people lost their lives. So same for Assam, I guess. So a lot of places where there is hilly terrain, they are much more vulnerable to cloudbursts as well as flash floods. And like you rightly pointed out, in front of nature, we are nothing, right? We cannot predict things. We cannot really, once it starts rolling, we can't do anything about it,
Right,
right?
right. So
Yeah.
yes, we
And
have to bow down in front of nature, and we simply can't help. Actually, just imagine that we are sleeping in the night, and suddenly something happens. So we're helpless. We can't do anything. No.
it makes you realize how small you are in this world,
Hmm.
right?
Right, right, right.
Although we consider ourselves to be the superior being on this planet, but one incident shatters all those perceptions that you have about yourself as well.
Right. And
Yeah,
maybe this incident happens to make us realize that, yes, you're insignificant. Don't
yeah,
be egoistic or don't be so proud, you're insignificant
yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
front of nature, I would say, although you have
Right.
significance.
Mm-hmm. I remember how after the Ahmedabad crash, people have now started sending messages. I mean, there were people who used to do that before as well, but now I guess it's much more, prevalent where families are sharing their updates when they start taking off, and once they land, all of these updates that they are giving or sharing with their families. It's something
Hmm.
that we might have been doing, but now it's becoming more common. We are trying to focus on that because we have kind of realized how fragile our life is, and because of that, to appreciate the people who are there in our lives.
Right.
And
And one more
and
thing I want to share with
yeah.
you, that we can understand the pain of people who have lost their loved ones, because last night only I have experienced this thing, that my husband went to his friend's home around 10:30, and I was looking for him everywhere. Where is he? Because I was calling him and his phone was on silent, actually. He was not picking up the call. So I was wondering where he is at this night, and I looked for him everywhere. I couldn't find him, and I was getting worried over time. Then I called one, then the other, then I mean, he was nowhere. And then
Right.
by chance or fortunately, I called the right person, and he picked up the call, and he said my phone was on silent. I was so
uh,
furious at him. I said, you don't have manners, you don't have etiquettes,
mm,
your phone should be, I mean, that ringtone should
right.
be
Yes.
turned on, right? I was feeling so worried that time. I had this feeling that what if I lose him, that kind of feeling, although nothing of that sort happened, but yes, I can feel a little pain of those people. Not much, not completely, but yes, I can definitely feel that pain.
Right. People who have lost someone in their lives, they
Mhm.
are, they can understand what it is like to actually be in that situation. And even if you have lost someone, it also depends on the context. Because let's say if I have lost someone in my life, it doesn't mean that I can understand some other relation that they might have lost. Right. So what I'm trying to say is, for instance, I lost someone just 2 years back, right? And a lot of people told me that they understand what they are going through, what I am going through, right? And that was the moment when I realized how shallow this word is, that I understand. Now, this word, it has a very big impact. When you say that you understand that what someone is going through, it sounds very shallow to the person who is hearing that, who has undergone that pain, because even though you're empathizing with someone, but you can't really understand the extent of what they have lost, because the situation
Mhm.
is different, their experiences might be different, their relationship with that person might be different, right? So many factors are there. So
Right.
until and unless you have been in that situation, you would never know what it's like,
Mhm.
right?
Still, I would say
So
no agony, no pain is same for everyone, right? I
yeah,
mean, people take it differently. Some are very
yes,
sensitive and the others are a bit strong. Depends on
uh-huh.
person to person, right? So we definitely have
Right,
to sympathize and empathize with the
yeah.
person who is going through such kind of agony. Although deep down we know that we can't make them feel better, but still we try to make them feel better by saying all these kind
Yeah.
words.
Thing is, we don't really know how to, comfort someone who is
Hmm.
undergoing a difficult situation. Nobody teaches us that, right?
Right.
We never know what to say, what is the right thing to say someone who is undergoing that.
And
And
for me, it's
it's possible that,
awkward. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I know. So, it's very difficult to be in that situation and to help someone who is in that situation. So it's all about, I think, what worked for me was, uh, I still remember the people who were there with me, who were not giving advices or suggestions, who were just listening and let me be, right? I think people who are undergoing any sort of loss, I have seen people reacting to it in two different manners. Either you will shut down, or you would want to talk about it, right? So with people who are shutting down and you're forcing them to speak up, then it would be very difficult, right? They
Right.
have to find their own ways to get out of that. And with
Hmm.
people who want to talk about it, that was the kind of person that I was. I wanted to talk
Hmm.
about it and I wanted to let it go out from me.
Hmm.
But I was told not to, because I had a lot of relatives who told me that,
Hmm.
you don't really have to talk about it much. I used to post a lot of things on social media back then.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So a lot of people told me that, you don't have to do that, because when they look at these posts, they get sad about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but putting up those posts was like a healing thing for me. It helped me get out of that. So
Mm-hmm.
how people react to grief and problems in their lives, it depends on person to person.
Right.
So giving
One more
advice,
thing.
since yeah.
Yes, please complete.
Yeah, yeah. Just one final thing is that when we are, talking to someone, the best thing to do is to let them be, let
Mm-hmm.
them talk and communicate what they want, rather than, telling them what to do, because you're not in their
Mm-hmm.
position, right?
Right.
So yeah,
However, the
yeah.
irony is, like, whenever you feel that me time, people would rush to you. Like when you are in pain, so they
Yeah,
would rush to you to ask for your well-being, although you need that alone time, right? Apart from
right,
that, when
right.
you're going through, uh, uh I mean, a devastating kind of thing, a very extreme pain, like when you lose someone, right? So you want that alone
Mm-hmm.
time. You don't want to talk to anyone. You don't want to see anyone, but people would rush
Mm-hmm.
like flies to you because it has become a tradition in India
Mm.
mainly, right?
Right.
So that
Mm.
time they need peace. They need that their own
Yeah.
time to go through that situation to heal. But still, people would not help you in that, I would say.
Yeah. From my personal experience, what I've seen is, like I was saying, there are two kinds of people. So it depends on what they need. So listening to that person is important, what they need, whether they want that silence or whether they want someone to share it with.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess talking to the person and what they need, and once if you have that relationship with the person where you can openly talk with them, see if they want to talk or not. If they're saying no, they want some time to be alone, then the best thing is to let them be, because
Mm-hmm.
initially there is this phase of shock where you are in.
Mm-hmm.
There is a phase of denial when you don't, you're not ready to accept what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So in such situations, oh, you might have seen people not crying at all
Mm-hmm.
when
Right.
they undergo any loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when such things happen, especially with celebrities, you would have seen in the comment box, people would be making comments about how that person is not feeling sad at all. Why is this person not
Mm-hmm.
crying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Things like those. But if you are in that situation, you would not never say that, because people
Mm-hmm.
react in different manners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people
Right.
um, get shattered right then and there. They express themselves, they wail. But at other times, you're in simply a shock phase where you are not ready to accept what is happening. So during that time, it's very difficult to actually let go of those emotions.
Right, right.
So yeah,
And
it's
yes, and this is
mhm,
the thing that now people have become much more educated, much more aware, because
mhm,
it is definitely not necessary to keep up with the stereotypes, right? Whatever you feel like, you can go by that. And one more thing I wanted to mention, that was very important. Yes, like people want you. I mean, people as a person wants to put
uh-huh,
everyone in the same box, right? They feel like,
yeah,
yes, if this person is going through this pain, so he or she needs to cry. She can't sit with a straight face, right? So that's the thing. They want to put everyone in the same box.
mm-hmm. We have this own perception that if
Hmm.
somebody is undergoing a situation, this is how they must react, and if
Right.
and it's same for any situation. If somebody is
Hmm.
not following the given norms, then something is not right, is what
Hmm.
society thinks, right?
And you know what? I have experienced it myself. Like in at one place, everyone was having a kind of common emotion that time, but I was not feeling that emotion at the same time. I was feeling
Right.
so awful that everyone is behaving in a certain way, and I am standing out among them, and all eyes were on me. So that was kind of a
Mm,
awkward situation for me, actually. But I
mm,
couldn't help,
mm,
because I'm not that kind of person who could easily vent out, easily cry out all the emotion. So I'm not that kind of person.
right.
I
Right.
reserve my emotions to myself, but people were giving me
Mm-hmm.
looks that time, you know
Right.
that's kind
So
kind of awkward. Hmm.
I get what you're saying because whatever you said, I was the opposite of it. So this happened with me once. So right after my loss, with in my case, I was also in that shock phase where I didn't really go into depression or anything as such. I was just taking my time to accept the reality. So after that, soon after my loss, there was another death in the family. So my husband's aunt passed away, and my husband's family was very close to this aunt. So at her funeral, I remember I broke down a lot. So now for my husband's extended family, I am someone who has come into this family by marriage, right? So when they saw me breaking down at the aunt's funeral, they were, kind of, they felt like something was out of place. They kept on
Mm-hmm.
asking my husband if she's okay. I mean, she seems to be too devastated by it. But for me, I guess because I had undergone the first loss, and that time I wasn't in that phase to, to maybe let go of that grief. So the second loss that happened in the family, even though it was not a blood relation for me, but that was when I broke down, and then it was
Mm-hmm.
completely opposite reaction to yours. Just like you said, you felt totally out of place. I also
Mm-hmm.
felt out of place, but an opposite reaction. I was
Mm-hmm.
devastated. I was crying my heart out, and people felt that maybe my reaction is a little too strong,
Mm-hmm.
and I was crying even more than their own relatives. Right? So people react in different manner.
Uh-huh. You know what? I remember one thing. It was my younger brother's wedding, and
Uh-huh.
even before brides crying for when they
Yeah.
go to their
Uh,
in-laws' house. So
right.
even
What is
before
it called?
bride,
Vidai.
vidai
Vidai,
in
right?
Hindi,
Huh,
yes. So even before that, I started crying. And people were again
right.
giving me look that why are you crying? I said I'm feeling so bad for her. So when
Uh-huh.
you see other people in pain or maybe in that kind of situation, you remember your time, when you were bride.
Mm,
That time I couldn't
right.
cry much because it was, that's a funny story. I'll share it with you. So that time, it was something new for me. I never attended any wedding before that. It was my own wedding, and
Mhm.
that was my first wedding event that I've attended, I would say.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was so unaware. Even my parents also didn't tell me what is going to be the scenario and what are the steps, and when I'm going to get thrown out of my house, like when that
Right.
step comes. So I was unaware.
Mm-hmm.
So they took me outside in that dolly, right? And I was
Right.
unaware that it's time to move. It's time to, go out from my house. So like people started looking at me that she's about to cry. She's about to cry. They were
Mhm.
expecting me to cry that time, but I was not crying at all. But then I saw my mother crying, and that made me cry too, right? And
Right.
after that, after a few steps, people were telling me, "Where are your sandals? Where are?" And I started wondering about that. Where are my sandals? And I forgot crying.
Right.
So that was a funny story. And people say that you didn't cry on your wedding day. I said that
Uh,
I always narrate the story to them that yes, this happened. And I also tell them in a very sarcastic manner that I didn't know that in-laws house is uh, I mean I didn't know that what in-laws house is. I mean, you
yes.
understand what I want.
What to expect in a marital home, right?
Right.
And how
So
to, I mean, you've
mhm.
never been in that situation where you're away from the family that you
Uh-huh.
have grown up with. So it
Right.
was just like a new phase for you, and you didn't really know that you're
Hmm.
going into that. So it took you some time to accept that reality,
Yes.
right?
So I tell them that I didn't cry that time because I was unaware of the kind of atmosphere I'm going into or the kind of setting I'm going into. But I cried now, so that takes
Right.
time. Uh,
Uh-huh. I remember when I got married, and ours was a love marriage. We got married almost after 10, not 10, but yes, at least 6 to 7 years of knowing each other. So, because of that, I wasn't really, I mean, in that phase where I would cry or something like that. But yes, because my parents were crying, I also kind of broke down. But
mhm.
I do remember for the first few months, I didn't have this feeling that I was married. It just felt like I am in another home, and that's it. And I used to feel really weird when I used to, introduce my husband as my husband. I was never used to doing that, so it felt very odd. Was it the same for you? Did you
Yes,
ever
yes.
feel out of
Hmm.
place? Yeah.
For a few initial months, I felt like I am again in a PG. So that was
Uh-huh.
not much new for me. But then, when I shifted completely with my in-laws, like with the whole family, that time, a few things happen in every household, actually, in every in-laws house, and you have to
Right.
compromise, sacrifice, and keep up with the whole family to get it smoothly running, right? So that's the thing. So you
Mhm.
learn it over time, but initially you feel bad about a few things, and then
Right.
you cry, you break out alone
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, you try to hide that feeling.
Right. The first year is very important, I would say,
Hmm.
because that's when it's not just for you, but the other family as well that is getting accustomed to having a new member into their family, right? As much as you are new to their whole family, you are new to them and they are new to you, right?
Hmm.
So it's that adjusting phase where you are getting to know each other's
Hmm.
lifestyle, each other's interests, and things like those. So
Hmm.
it's bound to have a little bit of friction here and there, right?
Right.
But how we overcome that, that is important.
Yes,
So
that definitely happens, and now we have definitely overcome. And it's a disclaimer that I'm not bad mouthing my in-laws family, definitely. So now they've known
right,
me inside out, and vice versa. So now we are a
yeah,
happy family.
right. And it happens with almost everyone, that initial phase where you're getting to know each other, that
Uh-huh.
happens.
Right.
And I guess today we talked a lot about expressing our emotions, right? So, do you think over time it has now becoming much more normalized where people are talking about their emotions as opposed
Hmm.
to, let's say, a few years back when people used to keep everything boiled inside, right?
Right.
Boiled and stored inside.
Hmm.
Because if you notice now, a lot of mental health institutions earlier, if you had
Hmm.
any sort of mental health issues, you were considered as someone who needs psychiatric help, and it was seen as a taboo and like a stigma. You were taken out of the society and you're considered as not normal, whereas now almost everyone is undergoing mental health issues from time to time, right? And it's now
Hmm.
becoming much more acceptable, and people are going for therapy sessions, right?
Right. That's
So
true.
do you
And why go far?
right.
Because I can give you my own mother's example, I would say. Because
Uh-huh.
she used to bottle up her feelings when she was newly married, I would say. So, and she
Uh-huh.
also tells me that you have to follow certain rules, or you have to follow certain values when you want to be in your in-laws' house in a very uh, proud or in a very nice manner, to keep the family
Uh-huh.
going, right? So she also teaches me that thing, and I have totally learned that value from her, that principles, that yes, patience is a virtue and it definitely helps your family running smoothly, right? But over the
Right.
period of time, I've also noticed that now people have become so educated, and they are not much affected by people's validation judgment, so that's why they openly talk about anything they feel like, right? Because I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about this, I might get some backlash in my comments section as well, and some people
Mm-hmm.
might appreciate, but I don't care about it much now, right? If somebody appreciates, well and good. If somebody criticize, I'll take that also positively, right? It is not going to
Mm-hmm.
affect me adversely. So that's the thing. So
Right.
we have started talking about it openly. Otherwise, before uttering anything about my personal issues or maybe that personal feelings, I would think about it twice. But it's
Right.
not the case, right?
Right. Because initially you would have seen that even if you get 100 good comments, but one bad comment, that one bad
Hmm.
comment stays in your mind and maybe disrupts your whole day. I'm talking about the initial phase,
Right.
initial phase as a YouTuber
Hmm.
perhaps. That must have
Right. That's
affected you as well. But gradually over time, you started accepting that there are people who would say things no matter what you post, right?
right.
So
Even
now
if people
it's
criticize me, I give them heart.
Right. It's all part and parcel, right?
Uh-huh.
Because you can never get everything 100%. You can never satisfy everyone. So it's
Mm-hmm.
bound to have some sort of repercussions as well. You might feel that there are people who are constantly commenting negatively as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it stems out of their personal problems as well. People who
Mm-hmm.
are facing personal issues, personal insecurities, they are the ones who project it out on others, is what I have
Right.
seen in my personal
Right.
life as well, and in these
Mm-hmm.
comment sections,
And I also
right?
feel at the same time that sometimes it's better not to react, right? And that
Mm,
can end up
right,
all the issues or all the arguments when you don't react. And that person can
right,
also feel that, yes, if she's not reacting to what am saying, maybe your criticism or your negative comments, so he'll stop one day, right?
right. Because people like these, they are also looking for attention. So when you don't
Mm-hmm.
give that attention to them, they don't get what they're looking for, and
Right. Then
eventually
eventually they'll
they might
stop.
stop.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So today's session, I guess it was from heart to heart. We
Right.
talked a lot of things about emotions and feelings. And we started off from talking about the floods in Uttarakhand and how it has affected people, how the emotional turbulence or emotional feelings that one faces, and how the society reacts to it. We discussed all of that. And towards the end, we had a discussion about mental health, right? So that was the trajectory of today's session. Now, I don't really have a feedback per se for today's session because it went on smooth. Just one thing that I observed, and this is not for you, this is for the audience, that at times, and audience might see it in today's session as well when both of us were speaking. At times, we were also kind of not smooth with our communication. There were, one or two places where we were kind of looking for the right words, or because